You and Tom were the ones that broke some of the biggest news that this offseason is going to see. Jalen Hurts agrees to a 5-year extension with the Philadelphia Eagles worth $170-some million at signing, and then $255 million in total in this tweet. And then in another tweet, it said $274 million. What is the actual number? How does this whole thing go? And what are your thoughts on this deal happening before Herbert, before Burrow, and obviously before Lamar Jackson, Ian Rappaport?
Okay, let's get to the numbers first, because all of those numbers are right. There's just different ways to look at it, different ways to digest it. It is a contract extension, so he's already got 1 year. He already got 1 year in the books. You add 5 more. The value of those 5 next year is basically, like any extension, pre-negotiating your next contract. 5 years, $255, right? So then you add that to the 1 year that he's already got. You put all of that together, and that's how you get the 260, whatever number that.
255.
Right. That's how you get the 255 number that Tom mentioned. There's also the incentives, $15 million in incentives. So the total value could be 274.3 through 2028. That includes all of the money. On the extension, the important numbers are 255, which is $51 million per year. The new highest paid player in NFL history.
Congratulations, Jalen.
Yeah.
Richly deserved. Almost $180 million in guarantees. That includes injury guarantees. Money he's going to get if he's injured and for some reason can't play. $110 million fully guaranteed at signing. Those are the key numbers for this deal. It is a really, really nice deal. It sets a new bar. Also, as always with contracts, especially a quarterback contract, probably means that Burrow and Herbert are going to go next and over him. That's just the way it works, which is why I think for the Eagles, getting it done before those guys was imperative. And it also leaves room for them to build, which I know, around him, which is something that was important to Jalen.
Okay, so let's follow up on a couple of these. As soon as they get to the Super Bowl, they decide that they're going to do this with him because he's a second rounder on a rookie contract. This kind of came out of nowhere, and have Nicole, I believe, from Clutch Sports, shout out.
Yep.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Agent Nicole Lynn, I believe, is the social media handle. I should have done a little bit more research. She's a dog. Her and the Philadelphia Eagles have been talking for how long, and how have we not known about any of this? I feel like that's rather large news.
Her and the Eagles have been talking for probably about 2 months. Really so I think the Eagles identified probably pretty early on last season when, Jalen finished really strong the previous year, so 2021. And there was some, I remember talking on our pregame show, the Eagles view Jalen as a franchise quarterback. They probably knew at the end of last year. And then we all could tell, the public, he was balling. This guy was good. And so it's all right, well, if he's that good, he's a second rounder, only has 1 year left. He's going to get paid. So I think they identified this pretty early. They've been talking for a couple months. It's been, somewhat intense negotiations, but very amicable. It's, this is big money you're talking about. It is something we've kind of known that was on the radar, because when Jeffrey Lurie was talking to us at the owners meeting, he said a Jalen contract could get done fairly soon. And that was about 2.5 weeks ago.
So was that all off the record? He said that on the record?
No, on the record.
How did we miss that?
It was kind of at the end of the owner. I think he spoke last and talked to only the Philadelphia local media. And so, it kind of did go under the radar a little bit.
We should have got that. That's something we should have caught. Yeah. Right now, Gumpy's up in Canada going, how the fuck I missed that?
Fucking way.
How did I miss that? So congrats to Jalen, obviously, and the Eagles, and Agent Nicole Lynn for being a fucking boss there. Largest contract in the history of the NFL. I believe largest contract a female has ever negotiated ever.
Hell yeah.
I believe
in sports.
In sports, okay?
In
Obviously, in sports, we apologize. Obviously, there's hundreds of billions of dollars happening out there. The next conversation is an easy one to have immediately upon seeing Jalen get paid. Lamar Jackson's deal, right? This is what Baltimore will just say, hey, here's the deal. He's made it to a Super Bowl. You haven't. We still have a lot of faith in you. He's getting paid much earlier than you are. Here's the deal. Is that kind of how this is going to work? And is that how we see this happening?
So last year, before the season, the Ravens offered Lamar Jackson a deal that in APY, so average per year based on new money, did not match this. This is 51, that was 50. But in a lot
Yeah,
of other
133 guaranteed versus 174 guaranteed.
Right.
Yeah.
In a lot of other, it's 133 fully guaranteed versus 110 fully guaranteed in Jalen's deal. So actually, like, the Ravens deal compares pretty nicely to this deal.
Interesting.
Actually.
So whenever we read that one, it said 170-some million. And whenever we read the Lamar report, which is only coming out from the Ravens side, which we assume is accurate, it said 133. So that seems to be 41 million off. But you're saying
So they're actually, let me find it. So there's a person, what's her name? Sarah Ellison on the Twitters.
Shout out, Sarah.
Who actually kind of broke it down based on, it's SG Ellison is if you want to look. I believe her breakdown comparing the two deals is accurate if you want to throw it up here at some point.
Yeah, it is right now.
I do believe the Ravens will probably adjust and, use this to help get Lamar done. But the deal they offered him was pretty strong. I mean, look at those numbers. Right? So total value,
200 million? Lamar Jackson's total guarantee was 200 million. We know that?
I believe that includes a kicker that would have kicked it in year 2, but obviously you're not going to cut him after 1 year. So I believe that is essentially the total guarantee.
Really? I don't think we've ever heard that.
That was the discussion we had between the virtual and the actual guaranteed, and that's what we were saying.
Yeah, but it was like 100.
Yeah. It was like a $65 million difference between what was actually guaranteed and then what the number they were saying.
I don't know. It was 200 million was the guaranteed. Now it feels like we've gotten a lot wrong. The Ravens have offered Lamar Jackson $200 million guaranteed.
Yeah. I mean,
that's
then
news. I don't know why we're acting like.
Why do we suck so bad? You hear me?
No, because
how do we suck so fucking bad? We missed the Jalen. Lori said a deal's coming around corner, and we just didn't even listen to it. And then Lamar's thing happened.
He said 133 without an agent, though. It was never like, hey, they offered me $200
million. We got to change a lot.
The 133 was on a shorter deal. I believe that was on a 3-year deal.
So that's news. We did not hear that. 133 million over 3 years. That's not a bad deal
at all.
That's not a bad deal at all, business-wise, if we wanted to talk. That seems like not a bad idea for what's going on, Diggs.
Are these confirmed?
Yeah, what's going on? SG Ellison's. Hey, we need to start following SG Ellison.
Yeah.
How come?
That was a good. I do believe I'd have to look at Jalen's deal. I've not seen the actual deal, but I believe those numbers are accurate. I ran them by someone who would very much know, and they said yes, these are accurate.
I'd like to go on the record. And I think Lamar's a 6-year. This is a 5-year extension, though, with 1 year left. So that'd be 6 years altogether. Mm-hmm. So his was on a 6-year deal. Here we go. Baltimore beatdown, March 14th. Lamar Jackson turned down $200 million guaranteed deal back in September. Lamar Jackson uses a cap gift that seems to say that's bullshit. So what are you talking about, Ian? And we don't know her, SG Ellison. Mm-hmm. That was breaking news until now we hear from the other side. It says, cap, bullshit, I believe is what happens here.
First of all, is that what that... I have trouble reading the gifts. I'm not 100% sure what that...
Right.
See, you're a part of the problem of why people think people are racist whenever they're using gifts. You know what I mean? Because you're like, I don't get it. What do you mean?
Maybe the gift means, why would I have accepted that? Come on, bro.
No, he has a bunch of caps on, Rap.
Lamar Jackson turned down $200 million guaranteed back in September. Cap.
Yeah.
God.
Not the
cap.
Like I was saying, I believe the guarantees is that would have kicked in the second year. So I don't know that it was 200 guaranteed upon signing. I believe there was a later year trigger, if I remember correctly. So it's right and it's not right. Literally everything else with contracts.
Okay, so we would like it to be known. Well, remember, you changed the way you reported contracts when Aaron Rodgers' deal came out.
That's right.
Because of the learning that I've done on the Pat McAfee Show.
Well, not the learning, just hey, you kind of put guys in a bad spot with their family, their friends, their community, their team, their fans. I mean, whenever you know what I mean? There's a lot of things whenever you're just throwing out a lot of these numbers. But to learn that he turned down $200 million, which from our gift readings appears to be cap.
Not true.
We might be wrong. We don't know. But if that was the case, we'd like to let the Ravens know that we've been on your side. If you offered $200 million and then more money, $50 million guaranteed on there, or $50 million a year average, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
Lamar should accept it. Doesn't sound like Lamar thinks that's what happened, but maybe there's a miscommunication. Hopefully they'll be able to get it figured out with Jalen's deal.